Hi, my name is Nikki Blades, and today we are in Walnut Creek at the East Bay Golf Lab because your girl is finally getting clubs. Fitted. My own custom clubs. East Bay Golf Labs decided that they wanted to be a part of this journey of me wanting to take over the golf space by any means necessary, which means I have to have the right equipment to do that. So the boys over at East Bay Golf Labs said, the first thing you need to do is to get clubs that are yours, because I have been gaming now officially for 2 years and I have hand-me-down clubs, which I'm grateful for. Let's not get it twisted. I am gaming some really difficult clubs, but they were amazing. They got me to this point, but in order to take my game to the next level, I have to have a set that is made for me. So that is what we're taking care of today, and I am with the amazing team over here to get me right. And did I say it's custom? Fully custom. This isn't no stock stuff. We're gonna go through everything that I need to become the best golfer I can be, so I don't have any excuses. And if I ever decide to blame my clubs, the guys over here are gonna tell me, no, it's you, not us. So here we go.
Work all the way up to your 7-iron and then we'll go from there. So you can warm up with like a wedge.
Okay. Well, hi everybody. Welcome to my first ever fitting. I have not ever gone through this process, so you're gonna go through it with me. For those of you that have been thinking about it, I will be showing you what it looks like, what to expect, what to bring, and I have a lot of questions, like what just happened right now. Do I warm up? Do I stretch? Like, how long is this process normally?
It's about an hour per thing that we do.
Okay.
So if we do irons, about an hour, drivers an hour, and then once your irons come in, it's a gapping process, so we fit around the irons.
So what exactly is getting fitted? What does that mean?
At the end of the day, a golf club is just a tool to help minimize a miss, right? So if I wait long enough, and this is where a lot of fitters just in the industry they'll hand you a club, whether it's the newest club, the most expensive club, whatever they get commission on, they'll hand you a club and they'll wait for you to hit one good shot and go, this is it. Yeah. Right? And I think a lot of the industry tries to sell people on the one good shot. But in reality, the problem is that golf is not built on one good shot. It's built on your misses. 3 different things we look at. So the first thing we're gonna look at will be dispersion first. What is our biggest miss, right? Do we tend to miss more on the left side? Do we tend to miss more on the right side? What's our dominant side miss, right? And where I hear it a lot where people are like, what's your dominant miss? I'm like, dude, I miss it both ways. And that's fair, right? That's a fair answer, but in reality, what ends up happening is there's always gonna be a dominant side miss. And if I'm athletic enough, I will then manipulate my body to miss it on the other side. Right. Person who's tired of chunking it then is gonna lift, and the next one they're gonna skull. So what's our dominant side miss? For you, it looks left, and we'll talk about that. Right. So I'm gonna build something to help tidy that up, okay? And then once we have you hitting more greens, then it becomes, how do we stop a golf ball on a green? Yeah. Okay? And there's 2 ways we can stop a golf ball. The first one everyone knows, which is total spin, right? So my spin rate, that's 50% of how a golf ball stops. The other 50% is launch. So launch turns into descent angle turns into another 50% of how it stops. So finding the right fitter should actually be something you take your time with. It feels kind of like buying a car. There's a lot of information that we don't know and what somebody else could be pushing. So there has to be trust between. For sure. And that's part of it. What most people don't realize is a lot of the big box stores, your brand companies, damn, I'm toasting brand companies right now, low key, but what people don't understand is they will run a special for their employees. So if, I won't say a company name, but if a company name comes in and they go, hey, first person out of this place to sell 30 drivers. Got it. We'll get a $500 gift card to our company. And so you'll go into these stores and all of a sudden, that's all they're pushing. They're going, no, this is the best. This is the best, because why? They're trying to get a paycheck. I will say, when we were first meeting and having the discussion about getting fitted, one thing that I appreciated was you told me, figure out what you want. Try some things out. Yeah. I'm not trying to push just one thing. You want what was best for me, which is always appealing, because when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know this is intimidating. Golf is intimidating. There's a lot of factors. There's so many things. It's a different language. Everybody that's been in the space can make somebody new feel very inferior, small. Like, for sure.
I don't know. I didn't even know what ball to pick. But if you're comfortable, especially like if I'm just doing this by myself and I don't have somebody else with me, it really does break down to having somebody that's going to talk to you like a person, have you understand, gain the knowledge, and then go. Because when I decided to get fitted, I waited, this is officially 2 years now. I waited.
Dang.
Yeah. So I've hit the 2-year mark. And thank you. So we hit the 2-year mark, but I didn't feel comfortable prior.
Yeah.
I really wasn't in the space to get fitted. I know that it's expensive. I'm thinking about a lot of these things. Granted, I'm fortunate enough to work with amazing people, but most of us don't.
Yeah.
And I felt really comfortable when you said, hold off. You don't need this today.
Yeah.
There is no rush. Test some things out. Pay attention to your game. What are you liking? What aren't you liking? And then let's try this again.
Yeah. Like, one of my questions to you is going to be like, what is your end goal, right? And I'll give you an example. I can take 2 people that both shoot 100, and one guy might only play 12 times a year, where they're charity scrambles, whatever. He just wants to go out and play as best he can without practicing, without playing.
Yeah.
He might play once a month, maybe even less. So for that guy, I'm going to build him a bigger Band-Aid, and that's what we call it. It's a bigger Band-Aid. For another person, if I take, let's say they can shoot the same scores, they still shoot 100, but they're out practicing 3 times a week, 2 times a week, and they're playing consistently, and they want to get better, and they have dreams and aspirations of going into the 80s.
Yeah.
Then my job is still to minimize a miss, but my job is also to give them wiggle room to also grow into it. I don't want them to come back to me next year and go, okay, I'm ready for a new set, I'm even better now. I want them to be able to grow into something. Does that make sense? And so
yeah.
How I fit is, it varies depending on the person and what their goals are. That's pretty good. You want to start moving it up?
Yeah.
What was that?
58. My favorite.
Why don't you go to pitching wedge and then we'll move it to a 7-iron now.
Okay.
That was pure. What's your dominant side miss when you do miss? Left side or right side?
Right, because I'm normally open, or I'm not closing. If I'm overcompensating.
So you tend to miss right.
Yeah. If I'm overcompensating because I'm doing that, it's gonna go left.
Have you talked to your coach about that, and like, what are you guys doing to change that? Are you guys currently?
Sorry, I'm trying to think.
It's okay. Part of this is a test.
I'm not in school anymore. Oh, I remember. So I was like, as soon as I hit that, I have been too in with everything. So I've been I'm keeping it really, really close to my body. So we have started, for me, remembering to out more, because I tend to do this.
Oh, good. So you're creating more space.
Yeah. So we're starting to do that because I have a tendency of keeping everything really close, except with my driver. And so we started making sure that I create more space so that I can not keep spraying it.
Okay.
I'm just using words that I've heard people say at this point. What do we got now?
7.
7.
I'm gonna go grab some things.
I clean all my clubs too after every time. I was like, oh, now I'm
you had all of this at the bottom, which was wildin'. You're wildin' for that.
Okay, for everybody that doesn't know and you are new, you will be judged on your bag arrangement. Those that know, look at how clean your clubs are. They're looking at your towels. They're checking your balls. They're looking at where you decide to place things. And apparently, I didn't know I was being judged. This guy over here went and rearranged all my clubs.
Pause. Wasn't judging. Helping.
Yes, he was
helping.
He was helping, which I was very grateful for, because I didn't know that that is a clear tell sign that somebody is new. So in another video, we will give you the breakdown of how to set up your bag properly to fool those around you, to have them thinking that you know exactly what you're doing. Dude. One thing that I will say about golf is finding the right people to work with is essential to the progression of your game. I know there's a lot of self-taught golfers who have been doing that and I've come across a lot of people who have never worked with professionals or gotten lessons or gotten fitted. And I'll say that what works for you is what works for you. For me personally, and what I think has made my game get to the level it's at so quickly is that I was able to find the right people to be around that were very honest, very informative, and wanted to see me progress with no benefit to them, if that makes sense as well. So finding the right people to align with will take you from just being somebody who watches swing videos on YouTube, having no idea what you're doing, to actually being able to step out and start doing a lot of these things on your own, and you feel confident. Golf feels like it's all about confidence, and the more confident you are in what you're doing out there will really change your game. Because majority of the time, I would say like for the first year that I started golfing, I didn't have the answers. I don't know why something's going left, or what's happening when it's going right, or what the distance is for this club, or what the shaft is, or the grips. And that's just basic language that you're going to come across the more you play. So find people that want what's best for you versus just trying to show off, because you will come across a lot of that too.
Nikki, how tall are you?
Huh?
How tall are you?
5'9".
Okay, can we talk about it?
What do you want to talk about?
You warm? Ooh, hit one more. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Not hit one more though.
No, for real. I was like, don't do that to me now. No, now you got me thinking.
My fault.
Is it really?
I guess. That's me.
I get nervous sometimes, guys. Actually, I get nervous a lot. I didn't have the luxury of just playing with with a bunch of random people. I played with people who actually been golfing for a long time. So for me, I was really nervous when I started.
That's the miss there, right? Yeah.
You want to know what my hands feel like? My grip had been feeling weird for a while, and I've been overthinking that part because I was like trying to kill my grip. I had a really strong grip for the longest. So with that,
strong grip pressure-wise, or
yeah,
or literally?
No, literally like pressurized. Like when in doubt, I would grab it tighter.
That's good.
But with that right there, I kind of left it open. Like I just let the club open up in my hand.
Okay.
That's not my normal miss. That's just me overthinking. Now I'm doing it on purpose. One more. That's what I'm, yeah.
All right. We'll keep the 7-iron out because what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up testing yours versus mine. So every company, it doesn't matter what company you go with, but every company is gonna have 3 categories of irons. So you can either have your game improvement line, okay? That's for your people who are just trying to break 100, right?
Okay.
They're trying to get to maybe 90s and they're happy with that. It's gonna be your most forgiving. It's the easiest to launch, it's the easiest to spin, it's easy.
Okay.
You have your mid-handicap line, which is like your P790s. 770s are kind of in that range. They are, essentially. But you have your mid-handicap line. That's for your golfers that are trying to get to 80s,
okay,
right? 80s, and there's guys that use 770s that are scratch. There's a couple guys on tour that actually use 770s. So it's a phenomenal iron. Basically, the 770 is the little brother or little sister to the 790. It's just a little bit smaller. So that you can tell the top line's a little bit thicker. That's just a little bit thinner. So ball striking needs to be a little bit cleaner. But essentially, those are our mid-handicap line. Technically, it's mainly just our P790. That's our mid-handicap line. And then you go into your players line. So you have the 770 is like right in between it, where it's like mid to players. And then you have your MCs, which is the smallest from top line to basically heel to toe, and then front and back. Okay. And then you have your blades. So I don't think we got a blade, but
you have a blade.
These also.
Huh? There's one. Let me see.
And then that's your blade. Okay. So.
And who's playing with blades? Who's actually out there playing these? Because
yeah,
my name is actually Nikki Blades. This is not because of golf. But as soon as I started golfing, everyone started talking about, are you swinging blades?
Yeah.
But who really is?
So it's like your pros.
Okay.
Right? So why would you use a blade?
Yeah.
It's more so for workability. So you can shape it more. And what you'll see is guys who have more speed. And actually there's an interview of Jason Day just talking about this.
Okay.
He's always used blades. He just switched to more of a slight cavity. And he was talking about how his club head speed's going down. Okay. And so as you start to lose club head speed, these irons will launch the lowest out of any of them. Okay. And really what it is MOI, moment of inertia, and CG, center of gravity. So if you look at basically two fancy ways of saying weighting. Okay. So if you look here at our most forgiving, what we're doing is, this is all not forged, this is casted.
Okay.
This is forged. Casted means that we can take weighting and move it all down into the bottom. Does a couple things. When I move mass below the club head, it'll launch the ball higher, it'll spin the golf ball more, and it'll make it more stable on off-center hits.
Okay.
When you go into your player's line, they don't have that. It's going to be more full, so you're going to have more weighting up top. This is still your slight cavity, but when you go into a blade, you're going to have more weighting up top. You have less weighting down at the bottom. So now all of a sudden, I don't have as much MOI, I don't have as much CG, so it's not sitting below the equator of the golf ball.
Okay.
Which then all of a sudden, as I move and raise my center of gravity higher, it's going to launch the ball lower, it's going to spin the golf ball a little bit less.
Okay.
The other part to it is there's less offset. Okay, so you have more workability. This is made for people, so offset is how much that hosel sits in front of that club face.
Offset? Yes. You gotta just get used to it.
So how much that offset sits in front of the club face. On the blades, it's going to sit the least amount in front. On your game improvement lines, it's going to sit the most in front, where this hosel is going to sit in front of this club face.
Got
and the
it.
reason is most amateurs don't actually get their hands in front of a golf ball, which is what closes the club face down. And so on the more forgiving irons, we do that naturally for that player to help minimize the right side. The more the hands are in front of the club face, the more the face is closed. Most AMs, when they get in, they miss right. So we give them a game improvement iron with more offset, so it minimizes the right side naturally through the club already, before they even, regardless of shaft, regardless of anything. On blades, these are going to sit the most equal to the face.
So with all that being said, what have I been swinging?
So you're playing something closer to a player's line. So not a lot of offset,
Right.
right? It's a very slim sole, right? Mm-hmm. And this could be, it's kind of in between. On your J33s, it's kind of in between your player's line, your mid handicap, but it leans more on your player's line.
Okay.
So very hard to hit.
Yes, it is.
You gotta flush it.
Yeah.
You gotta flush it.
Which, for me starting, I wasn't mad at wanting to get better with working with this, because I didn't want to have all the forgiveness create bad habits. This was dial it in, figure it out, adjust the body, work on the swing versus just working on.
Yeah. So let me ask you,
Yeah.
what are you shooting right now?
Okay.
And what do you want to get to? And how often are you playing and practicing? Because that's going to change, right? Like I said, a golf club is just a tool to help minimize a miss.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much I minimize your dominant side miss, I still need to make sure that I give you room to grow. Like, I could literally put you in a club, put you in a setup to where it feels like you literally can't miss.
Yeah.
But then as you go to work on your swing and as you go to work on your game, you're not going to have a lot of wiggle room to get better. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what's end goal?
To get that score down as low as possible.
Okay, and what is that? Something tangible.
Consistently, I want to be in the low 80s.
Okay.
Consistently. And I know that's realistic and something that can be achieved. End goal is to be scratch.
Okay.
That is what I want.
Okay.
And I want to be able to be good. I want to be good, not just I'm swinging good clubs. I want to have the skill set to be able to do that, to learn how to shape the shots, to work on my swing. I want to be as good as possible at golf.
So, I'm going to tell you right now. So these QI10s, that's going to be out of the picture.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's Nikki Blades, not Nikki Cavity Back, okay?
Okay. So, your MCs though, for me, and we can try it, but also are probably going to be out.
Okay.
I'm leaning more towards 770, 790s. Okay. And what I'm kind of leaning on is more of like a split set. Okay. To where Your 770s and your short irons. We can have something that's a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner. You have a little more workability.
Okay.
And then we can go into 790s into like your longer irons. What's the longest iron you play?
My 5.
Okay. How comfortable do you feel hitting that?
When I first started, I loved it.
Okay.
I absolutely loved it.
Okay.
But now that I'm not trying to swing and kill the ball every time, and I'm a bit more fluid with it, I don't reach for it as much.
Okay. Is that because you just don't feel confident in it?
It feels, to be honest, it feels like the weight of it is a little heavy.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's longer. Your swing weight gets longer.
So it's feeling, so it feels heavy. As far as whatever's happening here, that's fine, but I feel like it is,
The overall club is
overall club is heavy. When it comes to how I've been playing, I never really felt the issue with this part. It's always just been the weight of it, and that's why I lean towards my pitching wedge, like my shorter irons, because they feel comfortable, they're lighter, I can swing, I get through it. But my longer ones, I don't love them anymore, but I loved my 5. Like when in doubt, I could grab my 5 and that was gonna do everything it needed to do.
Okay.
What are we doing?
I cleared this.
Okay.
We have your 7 iron. We're gonna go 4 to 5 to 6 shots. I just want an abundance of shots. Okay. So like I said, the golf's not built on one good shot.
Right.
So I want multiple shots to actually be able to turn around and look and go, okay, what are we doing on average?
Okay.
Okay. So we want to pull an average here. So go ahead and fire off 4 to 5 shots, and then we'll go from there.
So, tell me about yourself. What got you into golf? What got you into fitting?
My dad played professionally.
Okay.
And then my dad was a club builder. So.
Well, side note, hold on. Give everybody your first and last name and the handle. Where can people find you?
First name Brandon, last name Gazdar. You can hit me up at bgazzygolf on Instagram. That's all we got.
There we go. Okay. So, your father was pro?
Yeah.
So you came out the womb with a golf club in your hand, pretty much.
Yes.
Okay.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about it. Oh God.
So first things we fit for first is dispersion. How
Okay.
far left, right, forward, and back do we go? Okay, it's a big circle.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have 10 shots. We have 2 that miss left, 2 are on the line, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this right side, dominant side miss.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you miss it left because you're athletic enough to go and you're gonna go and make an adjustment. You're gonna make a change. Okay. The goal of fitting, and when you're actually properly fit, it should feel like you never have to make an adjustment. It should never feel like you have to tweak your swing to make something work. And I think that that's a big thing when we get into fittings. Is a lot of people feel like they have to manipulate the club to make something work. Okay. So we're gonna disregard this left miss. And here's part of it, right? If I want to get rid of this left miss, which I know does happen during your rounds when you're tired of going right.
Yeah.
Right? If I chunk it a couple times, I'm going to be tired of doing that, then I'm probably going to thin it.
Yeah.
Right? So if I actually want to get rid of this left miss, I actually want to get rid of this right miss. So if you never felt like you would go right again, you wouldn't ever flip to save it. You would never feel like you have to save it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
You know what I see there? Consistency. Okay, what is that?
We're just changing lie angle.
I'm sorry, the what?
The lie angle, so how the club sits.
They don't come stock. It's not like.
No. So we can literally manipulate this club head to do whatever we want.
Wow.
Okay? The other thing is length. Okay, and this is where I get questioned a lot, where people are like, "How do you fit for length?" And if you go into your big box stores, they're gonna go stand up straight, drop your shoulders, and we're gonna measure your wrist to floor. And if your wrist to floor is between a 34 or 35, you would be standard.
Okay.
We don't do that either. Okay, and there's something where your wrist to floor statically, and then dynamically when I'm actually in my posture,
Right.
changes. Okay, and so I can take 2 people where they stand up straight and drop their shoulders, and I measure the wrist to floor. If both of them are 34, I can go, great, both of you guys are standard, here's your club. If they then go out to the range with both of their standard size clubs and one guy hits down here and another guy hits up here, they probably shouldn't have the same length clubs.
Right.
And so we don't measure wrist to floor that way statically. I want you to hit this. Okay, now here's my biggest thing.
Yes.
When we get into a fitting, if you feel like you're going to miss it, miss it.
Okay.
Let it go. I never want you to feel like you have to manipulate a club to make it work. Okay, so if you feel like it's going to go right or you feel like it's going to go left, let it go there and we can watch and see, and then we can make adjustments on that, all right? just gonna build this out real quick. Give me a second. P790 MMT. We probably should talk about what your club did, huh?
Oh yeah, what did my club do?
Here's my thing. So for this, right, we looked at dispersion.
Okay.
Your dispersion says that you missed the majority of them on the right.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm gonna always explain this before, so you never feel like I'm lying to you when I go, that's perfect, right? I want you to be able to understand what we're looking for. Okay, so let's talk about launch and spin.
Okay.
Okay. Once we tidy up your right side miss, then we're gonna go into how do we actually stop a golf ball on a green. Okay. So we're looking at two things here. We're looking at launch angle, and this is all done with a 7-iron.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at launch angle, and we're looking at spin rate. Okay. Now, let's talk about spin rate. So the black and white version out of the book is the number of RPMs a spin should match the number on the club.
Okay.
Okay. So if I hit a 7, I spin at 7,000. Now, I'm hesitant on that though.
Okay.
So if we look here, right,
Yeah.
like 44, 46, 6,000, 5,000, 5,000, 4,000, 59, 6,000, 55.
Yeah.
Okay, average 53. So you would be a low spin player technically based on what your clubs are doing. So they're not spinning enough for you.
Okay.
So if you go out and play in Arizona, you go play at a real golf course where they're firmer, faster greens, you're going to struggle to stop it.
Okay.
And that's not your fault.
Right.
It's just the club doesn't do that for you. Whenever we hit a cut, the ball spins more.
Okay.
Whenever we hit a draw, the ball spins less. So if the ball's shaping this way, it's going to spin more. If the ball's shaping this way, it's going to spin less. Now, going into this, the average on the PGA Tour is that they will spin a golf ball at 7,000. Okay, now that's on the highest end, meaning most of them hit cuts. So they're picking up an average on most of the tour pros hitting cuts. I never want to see a golf ball spin more than 7,000. Okay. There is a part of no return, right? If I start spinning it too much, if I get into wind or into the face, all of a sudden now that golf ball's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to penetrate. It's just going to go straight up in the air. If you hit a straight ball, you're spinning it basically closer to your 5,000s, which is very, very, very low spin. Which is also why you're going to have trouble launching it as well. Which is probably why you hit your 5-iron.
Which is, I do.
Okay.
I do struggle.
So we're going to fix that.
Okay.
We need this, basically our straight ball, we need to be living 6,500 in there. Okay, now, we can manipulate this number though. Okay, and TaylorMade's starting to change it a little bit. Okay. So, right now what they're talking about is the launch angle should be half of what your loft is. Let's go 4 or 5 shots, let's pull an average, and let's go from there.
Okay.
And mind you, if you feel like you're gonna miss it left or right, let it go.
Okay.
Okay. Let it miss. I want to see misses. I want to minimize miss. I want to take away dispersion. Good. Talk to me. How does that shaft feel? What are you feeling? Does it feel lighter? Does it feel heavier? Do you feel more weighting in the head? Do you like that? We actually talked about that.
You did. Right now,
start.
I feel like I need like one more swing.
No,
I don't know what the hell I was doing.
That's good.
Sometimes it's me doing something different with my body.
Good. And do not, like, seriously, don't feel like you need to stripe these.
Okay.
This is a fitting, right? I'd rather see people's misses.
Yeah.
Than
trying
them stripe it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Let's let it be more free. There's free.
That's free. You said be free. I said okay, say less. Right now.
Yes.
Is it weird if I say that it feels short? I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm standing weird.
Yeah.
I need one more to kind of evaluate what the hell I'm feeling at the moment.
Good. I don't like that.
No, I don't like that either. You think you don't like it. What am I feeling currently? Let me see. That felt fine. Also, I feel like I'm settled in a little bit more.
Does it still feel like you need to launch it?
I've honestly not looked at what the ball has done.
Okay.
So I don't.
I just saw your body kind of lean back a little bit more there, and that's why I asked.
So by default, because I've always kept the ball so low, I feel like that's what I've done naturally to try to try to get it up because I've kept it low. So that's what you saw.
That's good. So I don't like changing the right side miss to lie angle for you. Okay. The other way that we can minimize the right side miss, number one, so there's EI profile. So every shaft's a third, a third, a third. So you have basically your tip section, mid section, butt section. So all of these are stiff shafts, like you're a stiff flex in a men's, which is fine. But I'm keeping you in graphite, so it launches higher. Okay. The other thing I'm playing with is going to be torque. Okay, so this shaft is going to have more torque than that. So definition torque's resistance to twist. Okay, so a club head is trying to rotate around this axis, which is this hosel. Okay. Now, when I add torque, I add more twist, I add more face rotation. So naturally, this is going to work more with your body and how you actually swing. If I give you something stiffer, that face is going to stay open longer. Great for people who miss it left. More torque is great for people who miss it right. Okay, so I want to minimize the right side miss more through torque versus lie angle. I didn't love those ball strikes.
You know what? I didn't love those ball strikes either. At all.
Allow it to swing. Like, allow it to do more of the work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Don't try to muscle the club?
Yeah, there's no need.
That was the main thing that I've had to work on and learning for myself. You will hear me talking about baseball and softball references often because that's what I know and the only thing that I know what to compare it to. When in doubt, you never loosen your grip on the bat. and you control it, right? Like you get one bat, you manipulate, you do all that. So I have had to start learning how to let the club do its job, like you were saying. So I always tend to, especially when I first started, is muscle it. Just try to do that. But now
you can allow it to swing more. I'm not necessarily saying that you have to loosen the grip, but you can allow the club to move with you. Does that make sense? Not feel like you have to kind of force the handle down. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh. So my what I do, I get chunky sometimes. I'm not thin in it most often. I tend to like my arm just.
But is that through you losing right wrist extension or ulnar flexion left wrist, or is that because
I just drop my arm sometimes? I just noticed I was like I tend to get a bit chunky.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I can see that. Like you have no right wrist extension or left wrist. But, sorry.
Oh no, it's all good.
I'm sure you and your coach will work on that.
Yeah. That's when I just did it and I was like, oh, that's something I've been trying to not do. To not get lazy with my arm. We keep it very simple in the verbiage for me because if we overcomplicate shit, then I'm thinking about too much stuff.
Yeah. And
the next thing you know, it just all starts to fall apart.
Yeah.
So to keep it as simple as possible, when I do that, that's when I know I've just dropped my arm.
Okay. Very good.
It's like I am one of those that gets told to not think as much. So if we fix one thing, we're trying to do it in a way.
Try this for me.
To where I don't mess up everything else.
That's fair. Even more torque in this, but then it allows me, because this face should rotate a good amount.
Okay.
I'm playing around with lie angle a little bit more. Okay. I hear a lot of heel going into the ground, so I want to play around with that a little bit. This is going to feel the softest out of any of the shafts. It's going to feel like it really is going to work the most with you. Does that make sense? You're probably going to feel the most amount of weight in the head. Oh, dude, I love that.
So as we're going through this process, what are you thinking on your end as you're watching what I'm doing?
How do I minimize right side? Did I minimize the right side too much? Did I not do it enough? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So for me right now, I'm only focusing on dispersion.
Okay.
I am playing around a little bit with launch. because launch helps with dispersion of minimizing right side. Luckily for me, I need to minimize the right side, which happens more through torque, just because you're a releaser. So there's, if you go into your big box stores, they'll tell you if a shaft's too stiff, you'll go right, and if a shaft's too soft, you'll go left, which is only 50% true. If you're a releaser. If you're a holder, it's the complete opposite. If a shaft's too soft, you'll go right, and if a shaft's too stiff, you'll go left. So it's understanding your swing, where you're being taught to become a little bit more of a releaser. So then it stays true to, I need more torque to minimize the right side miss, which is phenomenal for us because I also need more launch, and torque also helps us with launch.
Cool.
So, oh my God. Dog, I carried 140.
What is it supposed to do?
What did that launch at? 17.5.
We're getting closer.
How's the shaft feel?
That actually felt nice. It felt fluid, comfortable.
You know what's funny is you hit the 770s better than the 790s. And I think it's because the 790s are so much thicker than these that mentally I feel like it's almost too much to get into the ground. 770s are cleaner, which are hollow body blades.
Oh, look at that! How fitting. Thank you.
Yep. So we have the max amount of, wow, that carried 150. 149 carry. That's cool. It's going through the ground cleaner.
Yeah.
So I'm playing around with line angle. How much do I actually tidy up your right side miss versus allow your coach to actually work on that? If you want to get to 80s, I like you at standard. The nice thing is that we have a digital loft and lie machine. So I can always bend them to standard lie. We can always manipulate the club. But I love that. This is going to minimize the right side the most while still giving you wiggle room. That's what I'm kind of battling, is like, how much do I minimize it to still allow you to grow with your swing? Good miss. Good, do that again for me. That was a little stronger of a swing. Well done. Well done.
That felt better.
I'm very, very happy with this. I do want to test a theory with a 790 with just a hair more offset. Launch angle's going up, good. And I'm not too worried about launch angle and spin because that launch angle already is at 17. And so what I am going to do is then play with loft. So when we do order them, I'm going to end up adding loft to these, probably 2 degrees. Which then is going to put us at 19 instead of 17. And then our backspin's going to also jump.
Cool.
So really stoked about that.
He sounds excited, so I'm excited naturally. I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at that whiskey down there. I don't know what they did to me. I need to stop.
Holy shit, that's a 790. She thinned that. Dude, look at how far that goes. 168. I don't like that though. That 790 just knuckles more.
I mean, it's far, but...
It's far, but it's not optimal at all. That launching was hello, that spin rate's friggin' a 4-iron. Dude, a couple more times for me, because it was thin. Do 2 more for me, please. I almost want to stop at a 6-iron and just go 770s all the way through. And then we talk about like a hybrid or something for a 5-iron. A DHY. That's really low. Okay, I hate this. Thank you though. But good swings, really good swings. It's just not optimal, right? Like I could sit here all day and be like, look, you picked up 20 yards, 164, but that's not stopping on a green.
Yeah.
That's definitely not stopping on a green.
Right.
But hey, you picked up 20 yards. Do you want to buy it? Like, that's just not. I thought you want to play good golf, not.
Yeah. We don't need it to do. We want the ball to stop, like you said.
It's a 7. Like I have it. Like it's a 770. It's 1 degree up.
Okay.
770, 1 degree up, 2 degrees weak. We add our launch, we add our spin. Like, it's nails. It's so good. It's really good. And it's a men's stiff.
We strong.
Strong.
We strong.
And your men's length with your height.
Yeah.
Your standard.
Thank you.
And it's a TB5. Don't play a firm ball.
Don't play firm?
No.
Okay.
Because you're already naturally a lower launcher, lower spinnier player. So we need a ball that gets up in the air better and is softer. Every time. I'm telling you. Every time. It launches, it spins better. Yes, it's not 164.
Yeah, but
that's gonna bite. That's a fun build right there.
I like this.
It feels good.
Yeah, like you
Does it
said,
look
it feels
comfortable though?
It feels easier.
Okay.
Like my swing feels.
As far as looks goes, sound goes.
Yeah, so far so good.
Okay. And be honest about it, right? Like I don't want you to, you know,
Right.
like be real.
That feels nice. The swing doesn't feel like I'm
Really trying crazy hard.
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Good. This is
I like it.
every bit it. I needed a shaft that's going to launch the most, which that shaft launches the most out of these. So the most amount of torque to help minimize the right side, and then 1 degree upright to even tidy up that right side even more. I could go 2 degrees and you would be basically dead on that line, but in reality, like that's a bigger band-aid.
Yeah.
And there's that happy medium to where, like, yes, I want to tidy that up, but with wiggle room.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll go 2 degrees weak on loft to help with launch and spin as well, just to
Okay.
get those numbers even up higher. And then when they come in, I'll check them on the loft and line machine and make sure they built them how I asked for them to build them, and then you're good to go. Good job.
Thank you. Yay! I'm excited. Wait, I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you do this,
Yeah.
I want you on camera. Okay, so the fitting concludes.
Okay.
What happens next? How long does this take?
Yeah.
Do I
so-
leave with clubs? Do I gotta wait? Do I come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's plus side and downside of custom fit, right?
Okay.
It's being custom built at our facility. Okay. So it's about a 2-week process. They'll come in and we'll fit you for grip size. That'll be the last thing we do.
Okay.
Once they're in, we'll give you a call and let you know when they're in. And then the first thing that I'll do once they come in is I'll check them on the loft and line machine.
Cool.
So make sure they're exactly how I built them, and then you're good to go to pick them up.
So pretty much you gotta stick around for part 2, because we're not even done yet. Yeah. Thank you.
Good job.
Yay. I'm excited. I'm happy. Hey, it's Nikki Blades, and we are back at the East Bay Golf Lab to unveil the irons. I got to work with Brandon, master fitter. I'm just calling him a master fitter at this point, okay? This man, top tier. I had an extensive fitting for these beautiful irons right here. I'm gonna show them to you. I haven't even opened the box yet, cracked the seal a little, but I wanted to do this on camera so you guys can see my natural reaction. So here we go. Oh, they're baby blue. Okay, so before we go into this, baby blue is my favorite color. My driver has the custom baby blue grip, and they hooked it up with the baby blue grip. Look at how beautiful these are. We ended up going with the 770s. Check these out. I will bring Brandon in to give the full details on, you know, the stats of these irons, but look at these. One of the main things we wanted to do was to get irons that made sense for my swing, for where I wanted to be in my game. Brandon made sure that we did that. Our first fitting took some time, but I am so excited to finally have my first set of irons. Oh, I have goosebumps, guys. I have goosebumps. I seriously am so excited. So the irons I was swinging before, they were gifted from a friend, very thankful. But now, I mean, I already want to start swinging these. Hold on. Pulled out my 8 first. Let's take this out the package. Oh, little ASMR for you. Look at that. These are beautiful. I'm just gonna have a moment, okay? Just gonna have a moment. Okay, okay, I think we're good.
So we have the 770s, and right now we have digital loft and line machine. So we ordered Nikki's irons at 1 degree up, 2 degrees weak. 1 degree up because she tends to miss it right. 2 degrees weak because we needed more launch and spin. So we're just double checking, making sure that they are what we ordered them as. Lie angle should say 65 if it was 1 degree up. They actually made these 2 degrees up. We're just gonna tweak these and make sure they're exact to spec. So I need this to say 52 on the number, not 52.25. This is what's on every tour van. It's the most accurate loft and line machine. Perfect. So 52, which is 2 degrees weak, and then lie angle at 65, which is 1 degree up. So now it's exactly to spec, and then we're just gonna go through all of our irons and make sure that everything is exactly to spec how we asked for.
Nice. They feel easy.
Good.
Like I'm not forcing the swing. I don't have to muscle it at all. There we go.
That was so pure.
Oh, right on the...
That was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Traffic.